And, Deborah, I think this is a good time to point out the cost of what MRF does in terms of legal costs, because you work in the legal field.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know filing fees, photocopying fees, laser printer cartridges. I mean, it's got to be.
Well, a lot of it is litigation, education, and just pure operations. To be able to keep, we only have so much bandwidth. And Chris, jump in here. I mean, every time we try to focus on something that's important, 5 or 6 more things happen at the same time.
Yeah.
Leah, you see everything because I make sure at the point of the spear that I keep our group informed about everything. And then sometimes good things happen. A couple of years ago, we looked at hiring a consultant to see if there might be a way to actually garner a Nobel Peace Prize nomination. And I found somebody in Washington, D.C., several groups. They wanted between $30,000 and $50,000 a month with a 3-month guarantee. They told us they could give us a 10% chance of getting a nomination. 2 years later, we ended up with 2 Nobel Peace Prize nominations for this year's prize, which will be awarded in a few hours. And in fact, this year was the heaviest nomination year ever. 199 individuals for the 2010 Nobel Peace Prize, and 38 organizations. And we have 2. We're in that group of 38, so we'll take it. I'm glad that people can see it, and it's wonderful. But it doesn't matter unless someone says, I'm going to make the donation. I'm going to sit there and stand up and do something. They don't have to take the risks that Chris takes or Leah takes or that I or my family or the rest of our foundation take. They can send their money in, and we'll take the risks for them. But this is an evil that has to be fought. And if it isn't going to be fought, the consequences, I believe, are the extinction of the planet, because that's what Dominion Christians want.
Yes.
Whoa. That is intense. Well, I know you're working.
It's absolutely serious. It's dire.
Wow. Now, you're very busy working on some of the Air Force Academy things going on. Do you want to talk about that, or do you need to get back to work, Mikey? Or
I wanted to be on longer. I have got to get back. I've got another couple of conference calls and some things I've got to jump on.
Actually, while you've been on, I've pulled up the letters from the parents of the cadets, so I can actually read some quotes from those. When you get back to what you're doing, I've got everything in front of me now, so I can feel
Deborah,
that one.
This has been a pleasure, and I'll leave you in the good hands of my sisters there, Leah, my board member, and their senior research director, Chris Rodda.
Well, the pleasure is mine, and thank you so much for what you do. I mean, man, you're just out on the line every single day, so thank you, Mikey, and thanks for contributing to the show, and we'll let you know when that's on YouTube, and we'll get the message out.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. The real heroes are our 18 to 23-year-old enlisted, 22 to 26, 27-year-old young officers that are out there. Most of them Christians that are trying to defend and fight for this country, but are being told that unless they have the correct religious view, they are not worthy of those constitutional rights. So with that, I'll let it go, and I'll give one quote to anyone who's listening that feels that maybe should they do something, should they not do something. Going back to Confucius, Confucius is the one who said, to see what is right and not to do it, that's cowardice. And I don't think anybody who's listening today wants to be a coward or is a coward. Stand up and help us fight. It's the right thing to do. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We'll talk later. Bye-bye. Well, so, Chris, what is this that you were talking about?
When you were just, before Mikey came on, you were talking about how they're I can't remember which organization it was. I think it was the one that called them a gadfly, which I was laughing at the comments in the chat room as that was going on. Yeah. I also want to put out and say thank you to whoever Molly M is for posting links to everything as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very cool. The issue of the cult at the Air Force Academy, basically, this is why Mikey is so busy at the moment. I actually mentioned this before, that we've been getting parents contacting us who have now been estranged from their children who got sucked into this cult at the the only word for it is cult, at the Air Force Academy. And actually we just wrote a letter to the Department of Defense about this, and in that letter I posted it on Huffington Post, which I just pulled up. I quoted there's no way we could put it anywhere near as good as the parents of one of these cadets. The cadet graduated in 2010, but the situation. Of course, she's been brainwashed. And if you don't mind, I'll just read the excerpts from the letter of the parents.
Oh, I think it's very
about what
important.
happened to their daughter.
Very important. But I'll interject. If anyone wants to call in, the number is 914-338-0452, and the platform is yours now, because this is a fascinating thing. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, this is parents of a 2010 graduate. Our nightmare began when she joined, we found out later that she was recruited, a Bible study group headed by Don and Anna Warwick during the second semester of her second year. Our initial thought was good. It will give her a healthy avenue to relieve stresses at the academy. However, in retrospect, the study group truly operated under the definition of a brainwashing cult with ulterior motives. It was at these meetings my daughter was informed that her career should be that of a wife and mother. The biblical terms they use are the female is the sheep and the male is the shepherd. Our daughter was methodically brainwashed into believing that she was unsaved in the Catholic religion. During spring break 2009, she urgently asked that we read the Bible every day in order to, quote, receive the grace of God and be saved. This manner of speech took us completely off guard. This invisible force has rocked our family to the core. Two sisters no longer talk to one another. A mother has been asked to no longer contact her daughter. A father tries very hard to keep some sense of equilibrium in the family. This is what our family has become. Nevertheless, we will continue our attempts to bring our daughter back to us. We will never give up hope. As parents, it is very difficult to see your child change in a manner that you no longer recognize her as your own. We grossly underestimated the power of this group. Being at such a geographical distance, coupled with the rigors of the USAFA, it becomes more difficult to monitor behavioral changes until they have taken deep root. Do you have any idea how it feels to grieve the loss of a child who is actually alive and healthy? And she ends it in all caps, the Air Force Academy allowed this to happen.
I mean, that's definitely...
I want to interject something right there for everybody listening. And anybody who is aware of all the cult-like press and information that came out in the 1970s in particular, I mean, you know, around the Jim Jones, but then the David Koresh and other things that were going on. And even the Warner Earhart Seminar Training. This language is the same. And the parents grieved for the loss of their children that they had to literally kidnap from these cults, whether a house or a commune or whatever, around the country, and including the Bhagwan Rajneeshi. And they had to kidnap them and then isolate them with a deprogrammer.
Right.
And this is as severe as that. And I get a lot of pushback and a lot of criticism for calling this a cult, but it is.
The parents here called it, the parents, let's repeat that sentence, they say, the study group truly operated under the definition of a brainwashing cult. I mean, that's what the parents, and this isn't, there was another email, actually I'm not sure if I can read that one, I don't know if it's confidential or not, even more.
It is, yeah, it is right now, but yeah, it's even more heart-wrenching.
Okay.